After evening prayers, Liushun hurried back to the temple. He had gone home to visit his mother today. The moment he walked in, he heard that the abbot had let Chonner go, and Liushun blew his top on the spot.
That goddamn bald bastard!
He rolled up his sleeves and charged out, but came to a sudden halt at the door. Turning back, he saw Ling Feng sitting on the kang, drinking tea and reading a book, utterly still.
Master, aren't you angry?
Ling Feng turned a page without looking up.
Master, Chonner is the apple of your eye. If this were you, you'd have torn this temple down by now.
Only then did Ling Feng put down his book and glance at him.
The monk said Chonner begged him to let her go.
Begged him to let her go? That little creature wouldn't beg for anything.
The monk said he's known Chonner since she was a child, back when he first entered the temple. Chonner has been here longer than we ever imagined. She has already attained enlightenment.
Liushun opened his mouth, unsure what to say.
The monk must be telling the truth. We've never told anyone about Chonner's origins. How else would he know? It must have been Chonner who told him herself.
But Master, we can't just let her go like that. You've let a priceless treasure slip away. Something money can't buy.
Ling Feng fell silent for a moment.
Then let's see if we can still go say goodbye to Chonner.
Master, you've really changed. Why are you being so reasonable all of a sudden?
Even a handsome man like me has to be reasonable. How did you catch Chonner in the first place?
Liushun scratched his head, trying to recall.
Don't even mention it. I lured her with her favorite cricket food, but she ignored me. I flooded the place and smoked her out, but she wouldn't come out. Later, I tried singing Buddhist chants and burning incense, but she still wouldn't come out.
And then?
Then, I told her the story of the Western Chamber.
Ling Feng raised an eyebrow.
It's true, Master. I told her a passage from the story of Cui Yingi.
That's cheating.
If I hadn't used that trick, I wouldn't have been able to explain it to you.
Ling Feng stared at him for a long moment, then suddenly laughed.
It seems what the cicada wants is freedom.
Liushun's eyes darted about as he leaned in.
Master, why don't we try speaking kindly to her? You care for her so deeply, how could she not know? If you understood her true feelings, wouldn't you find a nice plot of land and build a temple to her?
Ling Feng slapped his thigh and stood up.
I haven't spoiled you for nothing.
Early the next morning, Liushun began ransacking the temple. Bolstered by Ling Feng's authority, he paid no heed to the monks' disapproving glances. He tore up the turf, dug at the corners of the walls, and pried up roof tiles, turning Fuguang Temple upside down. The monks dared not speak out and retreated to the sidelines. Liushun went 3 days and 3 nights without sleep. At dawn on the 4th day, he finally collapsed, falling face first onto the muddy courtyard floor and slipping into a deep slumber. When he awoke, the sun was already setting. Liushun rubbed his eyes and sat up. He saw several monks not far away, furtively eyeing him with looks of fear and disgust. A surge of rage flared up inside him.
That bastard got away, but just because I'm not punishing you now doesn't mean I'll put up with you.
He stood up and brushed the mud off his cloth.
Guards!
Several servants darted out from the corner.
Tie up the abbot.
The servants exchanged glances.
What are you standing there for? Tie him up.
When the abbot was brought out into the courtyard, bound hand and foot, his expression was calm, showing neither joy nor sorrow.
Liushun ordered all the monks and pilgrims to be driven out of the temple. He then had the furniture from the abbot's quarters chopped up for firewood, brought in firewood from the kitchen, and built a tall pile of kindling outside the Buddha hall. He also had the temple's 5 large barrels of sesame oil brought out and poured, one by one, onto the pile of kindling. 2 of the older servants could no longer bear to watch. They approached and whispered,
Brother Shun, if this results in a death.
Shut up. Anyone who gets in my way today, don't blame me for turning vicious.
The 2 servants exchanged a glance and slipped quietly away. They had to hurry back to the city to inform Ling Feng. Liushun dragged the old abbot to the pyre and forced him to sit down. The old monk kept his eyes closed, his hands pressed together in prayer, his face showing no fear. Liushun fetched an eternal lamp from the Buddha hall and walked to the pyre.
You bald bastard! I've guarded those bugs for years, and you just tell me to let them go and claim they begged you to do it? Bullshit!
He raised the eternal lamp.
I'm going to burn you today. Let's see if those bugs come to save you.
Lamp oil dripped onto the firewood, and the flames licked upward. Just then, the old monk suddenly opened his eyes. He sighed.
You've come.
Liushun's hand froze in midair. He followed the old monk's gaze. A cricket the size of a summer cicada had, at some point, crawled onto the old monk's bald head. Its body was glossy black, and its golden red eyes glinted in the firelight. It was Choner. Liushun's heart pounded like a drum as he slowly reached out. He grabbed the old monk's forehead, snatched Choner into his hand, shoved her into his pocket, and pressed the opening shut tightly.
Someone! Let the monk go! Open the temple gates!
He turned to leave, only to bump head-on into someone's chest. Looking up, Liushun's legs went weak.
Master!
Ling Feng stood before him, his face ashen. Behind him were the two servants who had slipped back to report. Liushun dropped to his knees with a thud.
Master, I was wrong, but if I hadn't done this, she would never have come out.
Ling Feng looked down at him, saying nothing. After a long moment, he nodded and said quietly,
You go first. I'll handle things here.
Liushun scrambled to his feet and bolted away. Ling Feng personally climbed onto the woodpile and helped the old abbot down. He had the woodpile removed and donated 20,000
Please,
taels in silver
take care.
notes to the temple for
Thank
its
you, my
restoration.
son.
The old monk accepted the silver notes and offered a benevolent smile.
All things arise from karma. You, benefactor, were born with extraordinary karma. Both misfortune and good fortune stem from the mind. You must cultivate more virtuous connections.
Ling Feng knew these words were meant for Choner. He nodded, saying nothing more. Liushun fetched a bamboo cricket cage, placed Choner inside, and handed it to Ling Feng with both hands. Ling Feng took the cage and returned to his quarters. He set the cage on the tea table, sat on the kong, and studied Choner inside. Choner remained motionless. As he watched, Ling Feng found himself growing drowsy without realizing it. In his daze, he saw his mother, Shuamei, walk in. She shook her head at him, her loving gaze tinged with a hint of helplessness. Then her figure gradually blurred, transforming into another woman. It was impossible to say whether she was more beautiful than his mother, but that face held a fatal allure for Ling Feng. The woman slowly leaned down, her breath as fragrant as orchids, brushing against his face. Ling Feng's heart fluttered. Though his body was frozen in place, he felt a bliss he had never known before. He waited for the beauty to bestow even more upon him. His heart gave a start. He awoke. The beauty was nowhere to be seen. On the tea table, the cicada was still in its cage. Where was the beauty? Ling Feng stared at the cicada, his heart still racing.
Was that you?
The cicada remained motionless. Ling Feng gave a wry smile, realizing how absurd it all was. He leaped to his feet and rushed to the door, looking around in confusion. The courtyard was empty, with only the gathering twilight. He muttered to himself, the dream just keeps going. That sweet dream ended halfway through. What was that beauty going to do to me next? He paused.
Ah, what a letdown.
In a corner outside, Liushun waited obediently. Seeing his master emerge, he stepped out from the shadows.
Master, the lady sent word asking you to come home for dinner tonight.
Ling Feng froze.
Mother?
He recalled the mother from his dream just now.
No wonder I dreamed of her, she must have been missing me.
He turned back into the room, carefully picked up the cage with Choner inside, and said,
Let's go home.
Liushun led the way, and Ling Feng followed. As he stepped out of Fuguang Temple's main gate, he glanced back. The temple in the twilight stood silent as a sleeping beast. Ling Feng turned away and strode forward. What he did not know was this. Inside the cage, at the very moment he turned, Chonner's golden red eyes flickered. Then fell still once more.